Picture this. It's the late 19th century, the world is changing rapidly, and at the heart of it all is the Ottoman Empire, ruled by Sultan Abdulhamid II. The geopolitical landscape of the late 19th and early 20th centuries was a complex one. The spectre of nationalism was sweeping across the globe, and the Ottoman Empire was not immune. It was a time when the idea of a nation-state, a country defined by its people rather than its rulers, was gaining traction. This rising tide of nationalism posed a significant challenge to the Ottoman Empire, with its diverse population spread across 3 continents. Simultaneously, the Ottoman Empire was also grappling with the threats of European imperialism. The great powers of Europe were in an aggressive race to extend their influence and control. The Ottoman Empire, with its strategic locations straddling Europe and Asia, was a prime target. This period was marked by significant events that shaped the trajectory of the Ottoman Empire. The Russo-Turkish War, for instance, ended in a defeat for the Ottomans, leading to significant territorial losses. The Berlin Conference, while ostensibly aimed at maintaining peace in Europe, led to further encroachments on Ottoman sovereignty. Yet amidst this turbulent period, the Ottoman Empire managed to hold its own, largely due to the steadfast leadership of Sultan Abdulhamid II. He was a ruler who understood the complexities of his time and made strategic decisions to navigate his empire through these challenges. His reign is marked by a delicate balancing act between preserving the Ottoman Empire's sovereignty and adapting to the rapidly changing world. It was a time of great change, and at the helm of it all, steering the Ottoman Empire through these turbulent waters, was Sultan Abdulhamid II. Abdulhamid II was born on September 21, 1842, to Sultan Abdulmajid I and his wife, Tirimujgan Sultan. Born into the illustrious Ottoman dynasty, young Abdulhamid was nurtured in an environment steeped in tradition and power. His upbringing was marked by a strict regimen of education and training, preparing him for a future role within the empire. Abdulhamid's education was both comprehensive and rigorous. He was taught by the finest scholars of the time, delving into a broad spectrum of subjects, including history, religion, literature, and military science. A multilingual, he was fluent in French, Arabic, and Persian, in addition to his native Turkish. Early on, Abdulhamid was exposed to state affairs, often accompanying his father to court. Witnessing the complexities of governance and diplomacy firsthand, he developed a deep understanding of political dynamics. This early exposure was instrumental in shaping his future leadership style. In 1876, following the death of his brother, Sultan Murad V, Abdulhamid ascended to the Ottoman throne. His initial years as Sultan were marked by a series of challenges. The empire was embroiled in war, the economy was in shambles, and there was growing discontent among the populace. Yet, Abdulhamid rose to the occasion, demonstrating remarkable resilience and determination. He began his rule by focusing on modernization and reform. He worked to stabilize the economy, improve infrastructure, and establish a more systematic approach to governance. His efforts were met with resistance from various quarters, but Abdulhamid remained unfazed, firmly believing in his vision for a stronger, more unified Ottoman Empire. The young Sultan was thus thrust into a role of immense responsibility, a role that he would grow to shape in his own unique way. Abdulhamid II ascended to the throne in 1876, a time of immense challenge and change for the Ottoman Empire. As the 34th Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, Abdulhamid II was greeted with a myriad of challenges. From rebellions to wars to political crises, his reign was anything but smooth sailing. Yet in the face of turbulence, he demonstrated an unwavering resolve to modernize his empire and strengthen its standing on the global stage. One of the significant reforms during his rule was the establishment of the Hamidian regime. Named after the Sultan himself, this regime was characterized by a more autocratic approach to governance. Abdulhamid II, in an attempt to consolidate his power, embraced the role of a more authoritative ruler. He believed that a stronger central authority was the key to protecting the empire from external threats and internal discord. The Sultan was not just focused on power consolidation, though. He also had a vision for a modernized Ottoman Empire. He championed several technological and infrastructural developments, including the expansion of the railway network and the introduction of the telegraph system. Under his rule, the empire also saw advancements in education, with the establishment of many schools and learning institutions. Abdulhamid II's approach towards minorities was also a significant aspect of his reign. He attempted to foster unity among the diverse ethnic and religious groups within the empire. The Sultan advocated for equal rights and justice for all his subjects, regardless of their ethnic or religious affiliations. However, his efforts were often met with resistance, leading to several instances of unrest and rebellion. His foreign policy was another hallmark of his reign. Abdulhamid II was known for his cautious approach towards relations with European powers, particularly in the context of the so-called Eastern Question. He strived to maintain the territorial integrity of the empire and ward off foreign intervention. The Sultan's policies, however, were not always successful, leading to the loss of certain territories and sparking international controversies. In the face of these challenges, Abdulhamid II's reign was marked by tenacity and resilience. His rule was a time of significant change, marked by both progress and setbacks. He was a ruler who, despite the tumultuous circumstances, persisted in his efforts to maintain the empire's sovereignty and modernize its infrastructure. His reign was not without controversy, though. Critics argue that his autocratic style of rule stifled political freedom and led to the oppression of certain groups. Supporters, on the other hand, laud his efforts to modernize the empire and protect it from foreign interference. Despite the numerous challenges that marked his reign, Abdulhamid II persisted, leaving behind a legacy that continues to be debated to this day. Abdulhamid II's reign ended in 1909, but his impact on the Ottoman Empire and the world at large continues to be felt. His legacy is one of contrast and debate, a reflection of the complex and often tumultuous era he presided over. On one hand, Abdulhamid II is remembered as the last effective sultan of the Ottoman Empire. He held the empire together during a time of immense pressure from both within and without. His reign was marked by efforts to modernize and strengthen the empire, including the construction of the Hejaz Railway, which linked Istanbul with the holy city of Mecca. He also introduced significant legal and educational reforms and promoted the arts, leaving a lasting cultural imprint. In the international arena, Abdulhamid II adeptly navigated through the shifting sands of global politics. His policy of pan-Islamism aimed to unite the Muslim world under the Ottoman Caliphate, a move that had far-reaching implications. His deft handling of relations with major powers like Britain, Russia, and Germany also left a mark on world history. On the other hand, his reign was marked by controversies. Abdulhamid II is often criticized for his autocratic style of governance. His decision to suspend the Ottoman constitution and dissolve the parliament, effectively establishing a dictatorship, remains a contentious point in his legacy. His reign also saw widespread censorship and the suppression of political dissent, earning him the nickname the Red Sultan. The Sultan's policies and decisions continue to influence modern Turkey and the world. His emphasis on modernization and education laid the groundwork for the secular modern state that Turkey would eventually become. The infrastructure projects he initiated, such as the Hejaz Railway, continue to play a crucial role in the region's transportation network. Abdulhamid II's legacy also reverberates in the realm of international relations. His pan-Islamism policy, while not fully realized, nonetheless sowed the seeds for the notion of a unified Muslim world, a concept that continues to influence geopolitical dynamics today. In the end, the legacy of Sultan Abdulhamid II is a complex tapestry woven with threads of modernization, autocracy, cultural revival, and international politics. His reign, while marred by controversy, was also a period of significant progress and change. He was a sultan of contrasts, a ruler who, for better or worse, left an indelible mark on the Ottoman Empire and beyond. As we step back and look at the life of Sultan Abdulhamid II, it's clear that his influence extends beyond his lifetime. His reign, marked by both progress and controversy, continues to shape the world we live in today. His story serves as a stark reminder of the enduring impact of historical figures, their decisions, and the eras they